About 100 million years ago, Earth was in the midst of one of the warmest, most biologically rich periods in its history. Vast inland seas cut across continents. Towering dinosaurs grazed under a tropical sun. Oceans shimmered with marine reptiles, sharks, and strange invertebrates. The climate was a greenhouse world, hot, humid, and teeming with life. Yet, deep beneath this thriving surface, geological forces were slowly shaping the planet's next great transformation. But before we reach the Cretaceous world at its peak, let's turn back the clock to the start of this period. A time when Earth's geography, climate, and ecosystems were undergoing dramatic change, setting the stage for an age of giants. By 100 million years ago, the continents were no longer part of the single supercontinent Pangaea. Over tens of millions of years, tectonic forces had split it apart into new landmasses. To the north, Laurasia stretched across what would become North America, Europe, and Asia. To the south, Gondwana dominated, containing South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, and India. Between these great landmasses lay expanding oceans, including the newly widening Atlantic. Sea levels were some of the highest in Earth's history. Much of modern North America was underwater, divided by the Western Interior Seaway, a warm, shallow ocean that stretched from the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic Ocean. If you stood in the middle of present-day Kansas, you'd be treading water in a subtropical sea. The Earth's climate at this time was radically different from today's. There were no polar ice caps, and temperatures were warm even at high latitudes. Lush conifer forests, ferns, and flowering plants thrived in regions that are now frozen wastelands. In Antarctica, dense forests grew under long summer days and mild winters. This was a greenhouse world fueled by high levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Volcanic activity and the rearranging continents released vast amounts of greenhouse gases, trapping heat and creating a humid, tropical climate across most of the globe. Rainfall was abundant near coasts, but vast inland deserts still existed in some continental interiors. On land, dinosaurs reigned supreme. By this point in the Cretaceous, the familiar giants of popular imagination were taking shape. In what is now South America, Dinosaurs, one of the largest animals to ever walk the Earth, lumbered across floodplains. This titanosaur could reach over 30 meters in length, dwarfing most predators. In North America, armored ankylosaurs defended themselves with massive clubs on their tails, while horned dinosaurs, like Protoceratops, grazed in herds. Predators were equally impressive. In Africa, Carcharodontosaurus, a massive carnivore rivaling T-Rex in size, prowled river deltas. This was also the golden age for flowering plants, angiosperms, which had begun spreading across the world. Their rapid reproduction and varied shapes transformed ecosystems, providing new food sources for herbivores and encouraging the rise of pollinating insects. The skies were unlike anything today. Enormous pterosaurs, some with wingspans over 10 meters, soared above coastlines and inland seas. These were not birds, but flying reptiles, the last of a lineage that had shared the skies with dinosaurs since the Triassic. Birds themselves had already evolved from small feathered dinosaurs, but they were still relatively primitive compared to modern species. Many still had teeth and clawed fingers. Insects were abundant. Dragonflies, early butterflies, and newly evolved bees worked alongside flowering plants, pollinating and spreading them further. If the land was ruled by dinosaurs, the oceans were home to their own giants. The western interior seaway and other warm oceans teemed with life. Sleek plesiosaurs glided through the water with long necks and small heads, while massive mosasaurs, marine lizards related to monitor lizards, hunted anything from fish to other marine reptiles. Sharks had diversified, with some species evolving specialized teeth for crushing shells, while others were streamlined for speed. Countless fish species filled every niche, from reef dwellers to open water hunters. Ammonites, spiral-shelled relatives of squid, were abundant and came in dazzling shapes and sizes, serving as both predators and prey in this vibrant marine web. The Cretaceous world, 100 million years ago, was one of abundance and stability. For now, tropical forests spread along coasts. Vast herds of herbivores grazed under the watchful eyes of apex predators. Coral reefs flourished in the warm seas. But this balance masked a world in constant flux. Tectonic plates were still shifting, slowly rearranging continents and reshaping coastlines. Sea levels rose and fell, altering habitats and forcing life to adapt. While this period was a time of prosperity, it was also one of preparation for what was to come. Over the next 34 million years, Earth's ecosystems would experience both expansion and upheaval, culminating in one of the most famous events in history, the asteroid impact that ended the age of non-avian dinosaurs. But in this moment, 100 million years ago, the planet was alive in ways almost unimaginable today. A greenhouse Earth filled with giants, strange creatures, and endless green. Earth, 100 million years ago, was a world of supercharged life, high seas, and tropical abundance. It was a time when land, sea, and sky were dominated by creatures that seem almost mythical to us now. And while this age of giants would eventually come to a cataclysmic end, its legacy still shapes the planet we live on today.